Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to learn about passive transport and active transport. First, we are going to imagine two scenarios. Scenario number 1. Okay. Suppose you are in a very crowded, suppose this is you, this little boy is you. Suppose you are in a very crowded bus or metro. Okay. Now, when the doors open and you need to come out from the bus and the bus is already very crowded, then what do you need to do? You have to put a lot of effort to come out through the door, or the people who are behind you, they will push along with them. You can come down from the bus. So in this scenario you don't have to put much effort, right? Now this way you by this scenario you can understand how passive transport work inside living beings. Okay, or in case of plants we are studying here. So this boy, if he wants to come down from this bus through this door, then he can just come out, and he doesn't need to put a lot of effort, because the people behind him will push him and he will come out from the bus. So here not much effort is needed, right? Here not much effort is needed, right? Now here, when we are saying not much effort is needed, in case of living things, we will say that no energy is required. We can say that in case of living things, no energy. We all know that in case of living things or inside a plant body or an animal body, energy currency is ATP, right? Energy currency is ATP. In this case, ATP is not required in case of passive transport. And another thing you can see, that here the movement is taking place from higher concentration to lower concentration, right? Here you can see that lots of people are already present. It's mean the concentration of people are higher inside the bus than the outside. Here less people are present, so the movement is happening from higher concentration to lower concentration. It's mean along with the concentration gradient, right? Along with the concentration gradient. So this is passive transport. Passive transport, in very easy language I will say that passive transport means uh, the lazy method, okay, where not much effort or energy is required. That is passive transport. Okay, now this was your scenario number 1. Here we will see our scenario number 2. Here we can see a boy, okay, a little boy trying very hard to cycle. Okay, this is a steep hill. This is a steep hill. Fine. And he is doing what? He is cycling through this steep hill. First of all, he needs a carrier or a medium. Okay, in this image we can say that this cycle is acting like a carrier, right? A carrier, because through this cycle the boy is going upside, right? And to going upside against the concentration gradient, this boy is putting a lot of effort. See how he is sighing, he is putting a lot of effort, right? So this is not a easy way. This is not a easy way. Here effort is required. Here what effort is required? Effort required means what? Energy is definitely needed, right? Energy is needed. Okay, so this is what? This is active transport. Energy, again, whenever we will talk about energy in biological science is always ATP, right? That's why ATP is called energy currency, right? So here energy means ATP. It's mean in this process, active transport, ATP is most definitely required. And here in case of active transport, one carrier or one channel is required, through it will through it will move, right? So here the cycle is acting like a carrier. Okay, in passive transport we don't need a carrier unless it is facilitated passive transport, then we need a carrier, that is something different. But in very easy scenario we can find the difference between passive transport and active transport. In passive transport, energy or ATP molecules are not needed. It moves along with the it moves along with the concentration gradient. It, in case of passive transport, it moves along with the concentration gradient, that is from higher concentration to lower concentration. In contrary, in case of active transport, we can see that first of all a carrier is required, a protein channel is required. Here the cycle is depicting that, and in this case ATP is most definitely required, right? And what it is acting against, here it was acting along the concentration gradient, and here in case of active transport it is working against the concentration gradient. It's mean the movement will be from lower concentration to higher concentration. Okay, the movement will be from lower concentration to higher concentration. So I have given this image to help you to understand that how active transport and passive transport works. Now I'm going to show you one real image of active transport and passive transport. Okay, just a moment. Now with the help of this diagram we are going to understand this. Okay, now first we are going to talk about passive transport. Passive transport means the molecules will move from higher concentration. The molecule will move from higher concentration to lower concentration. Here what we can see these molecules are more in number. Here the concentration is less, so the easy movement is happening from higher concentration to lower concentration. Here no ATP is required. Okay, here no ATP is required. Fine. High to low concentration, no need of energy. Suppose a plant is in with the help of root or root hairs, it is trying to absorb water. Okay, so the water molecules are high in what? The water molecules are concentration of water molecules high in outside. Okay, this is outside the cell and this is inside the cell. This is inside the cell, and here the plant needs water. Here this is inside the cell and the plant needs water, so the water molecules will very easily come inside the cell, right? And it will fill here, because what, the concentration was higher outside and the concentration inside was low, right? So very easily it will come inside. This is what, this is passive transport. Fine. Now this is one scenario. In another scenario, in active transport, what we will see, suppose inside the cell there are already some ions like sodium, potassium, manganese. These minerals are already present. Okay, these minerals are already present. Fine. But the cell needs more of these ions. The cell needs more of these ions or more of these minerals. Fine. More of these ions and more of these minerals. In outside the cell, this is outside. This is inside. Okay. This is inside. Here the concentration is low. Okay, here concentration is low, here concentration is high. Fine. Now, still the cell needs more sodium. More sodium is required. So, in the cell membrane, there will be carrier protein. Okay. Protein channels or carrier protein, whatever. Let me use some another color here. Okay. Suppose there are protein channels or carrier proteins. Fine. Now, what will happen? Through this protein channel, the sodium molecule will enter the cell. Okay, sodium, I'm just giving an example. Okay, so what will happen? There can be nutrients like nitrates, sulfates, potassium, zinc, manganese. These can be present, but here I'm just giving you one example by sodium. You can replace it with potassium also. Fine. So suppose more potassium ions are required. So this potassium ion will enter through this channel. What? Against the gradient. Okay. Against the what? Against the concentration gradient. It's moving from lower concentration to higher concentration against the concentration gradient. So that is why here ATP is required. That is why here ATP is required. Right? In this image, what we can see here. Suppose these are potassium ion. Okay, potassium or zinc or manganese. Okay, suppose these are potassium ion, and the cell already have these potassium ion inside the cell. The concentration of potassium ions are already high. Okay, high concentration is present, but here outside the cell low concentration of potassium ions are present. Still, if the cell needs it, then through the channel, suppose this is the channel, through the channel potassium ions will enter. But for doing this, for working against the concentration gradient, the cell needs to spend some money. Right? Here money means ATP. Here money means ATP. To work against the concentration gradient, the cell needs to spend money. Here money means ATP. Okay. So this was the basic difference between active transport and passive transport. If you like this video, kindly like, share and subscribe. Thank you.